Morning. In this week's Sidra of Vayeilech, we read about the unique mitzvah of Hakel. It was a national mitzvah that took place only once every 7 years, on the second day of Sukkot, every 7 years right after the Shemitah year, which in fact would be this year's Sukkot, so in about 2 weeks' time, would be the mitzvah of Hakel. Doesn't apply today, unfortunately. Please God, we will have Mashiach in the temple in time for Hakel this year. But the Jewish king would read from the Torah, from the book of Devarim, read approximately a third of the book of Devarim to the entire Jewish people. Anashim, nashim, tough men, women, children, everyone would come. They would come to the temple. You would have tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people coming together to hear the Torah reading from the king. And the first question is, why is it the king who's reading from the Torah? One would expect perhaps the Kohen Gadol, perhaps the head of the Sanhedrin. Surely it would be a religious, legal, moral authority that would read from the Torah rather than the political authority of the king. And the answer to that I heard from Rabbi Yosef Rimon, who's one of the rabbis of Alon Shvut, is he said, well, that's exactly the point, is that the Torah is not just a religious document. The Torah is the constitution of the Jewish people, and therefore it is most appropriate that the king reads it. So people don't think, Torah, it's for the frummers, right? It's for the Kohen Gadol. No, the king is reading it, right? Imagine in every country, if the president would get up and read to them from the Torah, that's the kind of idea. What's the idea of Hakel, of bringing so many people together? The one point that Rav Rimon made is that he said it is like a recreation of Mount Sinai. You have at Mount Sinai that the Jewish people all come together around the foot of the mountain, and you have Moshe presenting the Torah to them on Hashem's behalf. Moshe was the king of the Jewish people. And so you have that recreation. We came not to Mount Sinai, but to the Temple Mount. Mount Sinai was a once-off, a temporary thing. The Temple Mount is permanent, is always, that's the place where the presence of Hashem, so to speak, dwells. And the entire nation comes together around the temple, and the leader of the Jewish people, the king, would stand up and read to them from the Constitution, from the Torah, about who we are and what our mission as the Jewish people is. So that's the first idea of what Hakel was. The Sefer Chinuch has a fascinating perspective, that he says by creating this great convocation, this great assembly, this incredible thousands and thousands of people coming together, what you have is a sense of the greatness of Torah. You have a sense of excitement, that this is something momentous, that this is something great. I think to myself, how many tens of thousands of people come to a music concert to hear their favorite pop star lip sync the words to their songs that are playing on the audio. That's just a joke, but it's not really. They come, but why? Because they come for the experience, and they come because this is somehow, they feel that this is something amazing. But what's so amazing? It's moving, it's emotional, but the content is not real, is not powerful, is not something that's the content by which you should live your life. Take one of those pop songs and say, this is going to be how I live my life and how we as a nation will fulfill our destiny. I think you know that that's not going to do it. The idea is we have that with the Torah. We have these tens of thousands, we have this huge group of people coming together and inspiring one another and having a sense that we are part of something huge and we are part of something special. That's what the Hakel is about. Every 7 years after Shemitah, and perhaps after Shemitah, is because we spent an entire year of Shemitah where we've not farmed, especially in ancient Israel, which was an agrarian society. For an entire year, you weren't farming your fields. You were living off what you had already in the year, bounty that Hashem's given you in the 6th year. So that whole 7th year, you are investing in spirituality, you're learning, you're growing, you're going to yeshiva. You as a family are coming together every day and studying Torah. You don't need to do all the field work. So you've done all of that. You spent a year investing spiritually. This is the culmination of all of that. On second day Sukkot, when you've come up to Jerusalem for the festival, you all come together, the entire nation, for this Hakel ceremony, for this assembly, to reinforce who we are, what we're about, to be inspired, to inspire everyone else. And you have a sense here of Barov Am Hadrak Melech, that amongst many people it is a glory to the king, that this is giving glory to Hashem, giving glory to the principles and the values that we stand for, and reinforcing ourselves and one another for the year ahead and for the year, in fact, for all 7 years ahead. May we be blessed over this Yom Kippur and over this Shabbat Shuvah to have that sense of inspiration, of upliftment, of inspiration, of coming together to reinforce our values of who we are as a people and as a nation. Have a wonderful Shabbat.